Welcome to the Organizedpreneur Podcast, the ultimate podcast for female entrepreneurs looking to supercharge their business. I'm Aldreama Harper, host of the Organizedpreneur Podcast. I'm also a business organizing strategist and coach, where I specialize in helping solopreneurs, freelance professionals, and service-based providers. This is to ignite, build, and transform your business dreams into reality. If you're feeling overwhelmed, struggling to manage clients and tasks, and worried about things slipping through the cracks, you're in the right place. With my signature framework, not only are you able to get your time back and get on track, but also turn your passion and hard work into a sustainable and profitable venture. Yeah. So I'm super excited today because I have my friend Kristine here with me today, and we're just going to have a little conversation. And so she is a part of the community. And so I wanted to interview her and talk a little bit about her business. And so we're just going to kind of, get into it. I am just going to share a little bit about her, but I'll also give her an opportunity to talk, about herself. So Kristine says, as a Christian entrepreneur and virtual assistant, she collaborates with fellow Christian conservative business owners, providing comprehensive administrative support for their ventures. She specializes in handling various aspects of business operations, such as marketing, design, website updates, CRM management, email newsletter distribution, and email management, and I'm sure a plethora of other things. So, Kristine, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you. How are you today?
I'm great, Aldreama. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to talk to you today.
I am excited as well. So, for the listeners who don't know you, go ahead and share a little bit more about yourself and what you do.
Absolutely. So I actually got my start as a virtual assistant or a remote administrative assistant by accident. I was working at a place that I liked well enough, but I could have used a little bit more money. And so I did like a lot of people do, and I took a job at a new place, and the new place was a disaster. And so they let me go in 16 days, which is a record even for me. And so I, spent the weekend. You usually get fired on a Friday. I don't know. A lot of people might not know that, but usually people do fire you on Fridays. I'm getting to be a pro at it. And so I spent the weekend crying about it. And, by midnight on Sunday night, I was all cried out and I was lying in bed thinking, you know what? I really like administrative tasks and I'm really good at them. So why don't I just do it for myself and find people that I want to work with that want to work with me? And so from there, I hit the ground running Monday morning. And by the end of the week, I had my LLC form, I had a logo, and I had a website. And I have never looked back. And I just really enjoy working with people all across the United States and even in Canada. And I do, as you said, I do all of those administrative tasks that people keep pushing to the back burner. And so it can be anything from doing some research on their products to something kind of out of the ordinary. For example, one of my clients made bamboo bowls, and he wanted me to do research to find people who did vlogs that would feature his bamboo bowls. And so I looked into people who did video blogs and found him about 20 that would take his bowl for free and do a little spot about that. So yeah, those are the things I do. I also build websites, and I have three main tenets of building websites. Number one, I believe that it should obviously be beautiful and be a reflection of you. Number two, I think that it should be easy to use. I can't even tell you how many people I run into that have spent thousands of dollars on their website and they have no idea how to even update it. And then number three is that it should be affordable.
Wow, wow. I love that. I remember when there was a time when it was like insanely expensive, to get a website done. So I'm glad that you said that. Would you say that that's like what helps you to stand out among because there are other people that build websites. So would you say that that helps you to stand out? And if so, what are some other things that help you to stand out?
Absolutely. I think that, first of all, I didn't go to school to be a website designer. I'm just like you. I am just like them. I sat in my basement with my hand in my head and my head in my hands going, that button isn't there. I'm reading the directions, and watching the videos, and they're saying just click this and just do that. And I'm going, but it's not an option, and technology, I think, changes so quickly.
Yeah.
And so now I am in a position where I'm up on those updates and I can teach you. And I actually am even going to be teaching starting on January 9th. I'm going to be teaching a how to build your website class using WordPress and Divi. And I think that WordPress really got a bad rap for a while. I think a lot of people thought it was really hard to use. And I think it was, but it isn't
Mhm.
anymore. And
Mm.
that's the number one thing I really want to tell people is that I got you. If you have never even tried to build a website, I can help you build one that's going to be beautiful and totally affordable.
Wow, wow. I love that. I used to I'm familiar with WordPress, as a lot of people are, but I'm not familiar with Divi. I'm not in that space, but
Right.
one thing I do remember is that I used to have my website on WordPress, and I hated it.
Yeah. A
It
lot of
was
people.
it was cumbersome, but
Mhm.
also I would get hacked a lot.
Right.
And so is that something that you hear about? And so what do you do?
Yeah, it definitely is a main problem that people need to worry about. Obviously, a lot of people are running firewalls and malware protection on their own computers, and if their malware protection tells them they shouldn't go to your website, that's not a great reflection on your business. So, absolutely, you need to be aware of
Mhm.
that. There are some fantastic tools out there these days. And one of them that I'll highlight is called Clean Talk. And
Mm.
I'll tell you what, I don't even know how it works, but it works and it's amazing. And
Wow.
I think that maybe we should keep it a secret because I don't think they know what they've got because it again is super affordable. All of the tools that I use are super affordable and easy to use. And the nice thing about Divi is it's really kind of drag and drop. And it
Mhm.
now has a front end builder where you can actually see what you're doing. So you want the font bigger? How much bigger? Well, maybe this much, maybe that much. You can see it getting bigger as you're clicking the plus sign. So you can totally
Mhm.
see what it's going to look like. Is it going to start spacing too far across the page? Do you want it closer
Yeah.
together? So much you can do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, I mean, I'm glad you said that because you remember I was asking you about, having your website compliant with the ADA, I believe that's
Yes,
it, American Disabilities Act. Is
correct.
that so? Can you kind of speak to that a little bit, or is
Sure. So,
yeah?
actually, the some of the tools that I use actually have areas that will tell you whether or not it is compliant. A lot of
Gotcha.
those are SEO type things.
Hmm.
So, the SEO that I use is called Rank Math, and that will tell you how accessible it is. Now, sometimes it's a little bit of a misnomer because, for example, on your contact page, what do you have on a contact page, right? You've got your contact form, maybe you've got a phone number, maybe an address if you've got a brick and mortar type of a place, but there's not really a lot of information on that page. It's more of a how do I get in contact past this page, right? And SEO doesn't like pages on a website that don't have a lot of content. to them, it's like, why you have a website with no content, right? So it's a little bit confusing, and you almost always will get a low SEO grade on a contact page, but that's okay because your other pages are going to make up for that.
So do you like doing websites? What do you like doing the best in your business? Because everybody has, things in their business is like, I like to do this, but I don't like to do this, but I offer it. It's not my favorite thing to do. What's your favorite thing about your business that you like to do?
I think my favorite thing to do is actually CRMs. So a CRM is a data management kind of a software that people would use to keep track of their customers, their clients, their members, that sort of thing. And I love the satisfaction of taking somebody who's maybe using files, paper, cabinets, their desk is piled up with all kinds of paper. I love to take those people and show them how to digitize everything and become super digitally organized so that they can pull up Jill Smith and it will tell them when the last time she brought her dog in for grooming was, if that's what they do, or when the last time she volunteered for an event, if they're like a nonprofit, or, how much did she donate if she's a sponsor of something, that sort of thing. All of that can come up so quickly. And, the problem with paper is if you accidentally put Jill Smith's file in John Zadebski's file, you may never find it, right?
Yeah.
Especially if good old John isn't really somebody who is very active, for example, then you might find that you just never see Jill again. You don't know where her files went. And so this way, everything is downloaded either in the CRM system itself, or a lot of times CRMs tend to cost a lot of money to store files. So we cheat a little bit because, again, I'm all about saving the people money. So we'll use the Google Drive and we'll have links in the CRM that take you right to the Google Drive for that person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you have a favorite CRM product that you use or what?
Not really. It's hard to say because every business is different and everybody needs something different. And so with humongous businesses that, maybe Fortune 500 businesses or maybe a little bit fewer employees than that even, they might use something called QuickBase. That is amazing. It does everything. But then for nonprofits, especially like chambers of commerce, I found one called Neon or Neon One. It has rebranded as, again, amazing. And then for smaller entrepreneurs, 17 Hats, Monday, HubSpot, all of those are great. The things that you really want to look for are you want to have, first of all, customizable fields. So I actually, for my own business, use a CRM called Less Annoying CRM. And it actually is less annoying. It
I've heard
does
of it.
not have different tiers of payment structure. So it's not like, oh, I want to run this report, but I can't because I have to upgrade. There's none of that. It's one payment for everybody. And it has customizable fields. So for example, the way I use it is I use it when I do a lot of networking. And so when I meet people at those networking events, I will put them in that CRM and then I'll mark, did I ask them to sign up for my newsletter? And the choices aren't just yes or no. They might be yes, no, they weren't interested, or I don't want to ask them for some reason. And then there's a note section where I can say why, and then the same thing for LinkedIn. Are we connected on LinkedIn? Yes, no, they're not on LinkedIn, or something else,
Oh, that's really cool.
So I really love that. And then you can filter the results that you're pulling up. And you can only get everybody who maybe you aren't connected on LinkedIn. Well, did I invite them? Have they just not answered? Are they not real active? Why haven't we connected? So, yeah.
Well, that's really cool because and really you are dropping a lot of huge knowledge bombs. So I hope whoever is listening or watching, I hope they're paying attention. So my question is, so depending on the type of client that you work with, let's just say you have a client that has, a CRM that they're already using. So do you, recommend something, or do you actually work with what they have?
Sometimes one, sometimes the other. It depends on if it's working well for them. If they're, doing pretty well and it's coming along, maybe they just need to be using more of it. Maybe they
Mhm.
really don't understand how to use more of it, or maybe there are some bells and whistles that they just haven't even touched yet.
Mhm.
Then sure, we'll start working with whatever they're using and we'll see what we can do. If it's something where maybe they don't have those customizable fields, or
Mhm.
maybe it's intended for real estate agents, but they're a dog groomer, then
Mhm.
we might decide to go a different direction. And in that case, I'm going to talk to the client. I'm going to say, listen, um, I know we're using this and it works well for X, but not great for Y. I worked with, for example, 17 hats, and it can do
Mhm.
both. Would you
Mhm.
be interested in doing a trial with that and seeing if it can make us work less?
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of people who are entering data. One of the biggest things actually that I see with my clients is they're entering data, the same data in more than one place.
Yeah.
There's really no need for that because there are tools that can make it not necessary. And,
Yeah.
a lot of them say, well, I want to be sure. I want to like do that redundancy on purpose because I want to have that backup. And that's really all really good philosophy.
Mhm.
But why do it more than once if you don't have to? Copy and paste, make sure that it always matches. And when you do something automated, it also always matches.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the wonderful thing about systems, because you're talking my language, right?
Yes.
So, and so, okay, so we talked about, websites, and, how you work with clients, with websites and CRMs. So I know you have a passion for creative writing,
I
right?
do.
So is this like a certain kind of writing? Like, is it books? Is it newsletters? Or, tell me more about that.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. So I actually have a degree in creative writing. I always loved writing as I was coming up. It was poetry when I was in my angsty teenage years. And after that, just became kind of short stories. And I'm working on a book currently about my
Okay.
life as a emotionally and psychologically abused teenager, and how I chose to be a happy person and to
Mhm.
be a successful person. And I do believe there's a lot of choices that we all make in life. And I believe choosing happiness, it kind of sounds a little cliche, but for sure, it's definitely a choice that you have to make, especially when you're coming off of a situation like that. And
Yeah.
so I want people out there to understand that you aren't what happened to you, and you don't have to succeed in spite of it. You can succeed because of it.
Mhm. Wow, I love that. That's going to be very exciting. So we'll definitely have to save a spot so that you can come back and talk about, your book
For
and everything.
sure.
So
For
we'll
sure.
definitely do that. But, one of the things that I love about, you know, what you're saying is that, so some people think that they have to be in one slot or one way or the other. Like, they're either creative or they are, when they work with systems and
Analytical.
processes. Yeah, yeah, pretty, So, but what, with you, it's like you use, all of it. Like you tap into all of your skills.
Well, and it's funny that you say that too, because I just recently did a post. I can't remember if it's a post that's going to be posted next week or if it's one that I posted recently. But talking about Mark Wahlberg. So Mark Wahlberg is one of my heroes. I hope to meet him sometime in 2024. I'm going to try very hard to find a way to meet that man, because first of all, this is a man who messed up a lot,
Mhm,
and he
mhm,
actually was in prison. A lot of people don't know that he was in prison, and he got out of prison and he had all kinds of tattoos, and he found God, and he got the tattoos removed, and he has a healthy family. And speaking of business, so everybody knows the Wahlburgers, right? You got
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
burger place, right? Well, then he goes and he has this other company that is something 45, like PX 45 or something, or PI 45, and it's like health supplements. Well, that doesn't go together. Burgers and supplements, what the heck? That's not even close. And then he's also got like a car lot in Ohio. So cars and burgers and health foods. I mean, what the heck? And then he also has like 2 different production companies, and he's an actor. Like, nobody is telling Mark Wahlberg, you know what? You have to niche. You can only be an actor, my dude. You can't go out there and sell used cars. That's who will you tell? You have to only tell certain people what you're doing. And so that's where the whole niche thing, I know a lot of people really hyper focus on that, but I feel like go ahead and dream big and hit it all. And if you want to, sell cheese and also do taxidermy, more power to you. Just don't do them together, okay?
Right, right. Oh my gosh, I love that because, a lot of people, they miss out when they box themselves in,
Exactly.
when in fact I believe that, when you tap into, your creativity and how God designed you, and move forward in that assignment. Now, I also believe that, we have different assignments. But we're all creative. We're all creative because we have a creative God. God created, and
Right.
we are created in his image. Therefore, we're also creative. But I love how you are speaking to those that, listening or watching, and talking about, the fact that, tap into, because that's what I'm hearing you say, tap into all of those areas, of your life. I think where some people may get a little tripped up is when they're trying to tap into all of them at the same time.
Sure. Exactly.
Because that way, it's like, and I believe that, like, when as you're talking about Mark, the thing to keep in mind is that when you create one business, make sure that it's stable enough so that you can focus on the other things that you want to do,
Right.
right? And then I'm sure, I don't know all of his journey, but I am familiar with him. But I'm sure that's one of the things that made him so successful, is that he was able to take time to focus on one, or two, and then probably, I'm sure he had help, people to help him,
Exactly.
to so he could stay focused. But I love that you are, talking about that. That is really, really very powerful. Um, and yeah, let's not box ourselves in, but not try to do it all at once. Focus on one, get some stability, and then, move into the other thing. Because we all have so many different passions,
Right.
like so many different things, we want to. And it's almost like it's a blessing and a curse when
Mm-hmm.
it's an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, it's like, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I really love that. So you gotta kind of train yourself to stay focused, because ideas are always coming, always,
For
always.
sure.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm so glad that you're talking about that. Excuse me. So you also say that as an army wife and dedicated professional, that you've learned the importance of adaptability. And I think that what we're talking about really lends itself to being able to tap into all the aspects of your, different skills and talents and things that you're able to do. And so you say that I embrace change and am adept at recalibrating my focus when project directions shift or new tasks emerge. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that a lot of business owners out there maybe will put in the advertisement when they're looking for someone to work. They always use those catchphrases like fast-paced environment, right? And one of the things is that they want somebody who is going to be able to change focus if it needs to happen. So if something comes up or suddenly something is a priority that we didn't realize was a priority before, then you need to be able to kind of change what is in your mind and put on a different hat and go down a different alley for a minute. And so that is just something that I think it's just part of my personality. I have no problem whatsoever finding a place to pause and making some quick notes and then moving to the next thing and then being able to come back to that first thing without too much interruption and, oh my gosh, I got to figure it all out again. And so I think that over time you, I guess, learn different techniques that work for you for how you're going to pick that up again. And I think that's a super valuable thing for a lot of people out there that are looking for an assistant.
Yeah. What are your favorite type of clients to work with? Who's your favorite client? You don't have to name them. You don't have to name them.
Just somebody that's easygoing, somebody who's going to understand that, for example, I did have something happen not too long ago where I usually send an email out to my clients every Monday morning and let them know how many hours they have left in their bucket of hours. And this one client didn't get her email. And she actually didn't get it for 2 weeks in a row. And I was a little off my game. I was sick in November and I just wasn't at my full potential. And so when I looked into it, I realized that somehow in my list, I had pushed a wrong button. And it had excluded her from getting her emails, even though I was programming them in and doing everything that I normally do. That one little, basically was like a toggle, was toggled wrong, and she wasn't getting her emails. And so definitely you want to work with somebody that is going to roll with that and say, hey, no big deal. I just wanted to let you know I wasn't getting it. And, now that we're back on track, great. You don't want somebody who's going to fall apart the second something like that happens. And I think the big takeaway from a lot of my great clients is recognizing that we're all human. And I don't like to make mistakes. Nobody does. And so, yeah, I just like to work with people. I love laughter. And so, boy, if I can find someone who has a great sense of humor and that we can joke and they understand that they're working with me. I'm not working per se for them. I am, but I'm not. I'm working with them. And that's the best kind of a relationship we can have.
Absolutely. Have you ever fired a client?
I have, unfortunately. Not really any long-term clients, but I did unfortunately have a gentleman who actually lived in the same town as I do. And I had agreed to work with him on like a Monday. And then on Friday, and now remember, I send those emails out on Mondays. So it wasn't even Monday yet. On Friday, in the middle of the night, he had actually emailed me and wanted an update. And so I didn't get back to him because I was actually out of town that day. And at 5 o'clock on my Ring doorbell, he was standing at my door. And so I was out of town. And so I got the notification on my Apple Watch and I didn't answer him. I let him ring the doorbell as many times as he wanted. And so when he left, I got back on the weekend. And then on Monday morning, I refunded his money and told him we were not a good fit. So,
wow. I've never had anything like that ever happen.
I can't even imagine what he thought was going to happen. Did he think I was going to invite him in for coffee? Like, it was just, and the reason a lot of people have asked, well, how did he have your address? Well, because we were working on some government contracts together. And so I had to do a background check. And so I had to give him my important information. And that just did not sit well with me.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I'm actually glad that you weren't there.
For sure. Yeah, it was awkward. And So bless his
Yeah.
heart. I did
Yeah.
have another client that again just wasn't a good fit, and we just had the conversation of, I think that you probably are looking for somebody who is more focused in this other area, and
Yeah.
but we left on good terms. It wasn't anything
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah. I like those. I've had to, do the same, from time to time. I've also had some clients, that I love working with, and things like that. So you get to experience all of those, type of things. So what I want to get to some fun facts, but before I
Yes.
do, before I do, I know that you said you were offering a session on building websites and things like that. What are some things that the people are going to get? What are they going to learn when they come?
Yeah.
And
So I
you may have already said it,
nope,
but
I
just
sure
okay,
didn't.
okay, all right.
So I'm actually going to be having an info session on next week on the 4th.
Mhm.
And I don't actually remember what time. Hold on, and I will tell you what time. It is at, oh, jeez, I don't know. Um, let's see, what time are you at? Well, it's on Eventbrite in any event.
Mm.
It's on the 4th. And during that info session, I will tell you everything we're going to cover in the class, as well as how much the class is going to cost.
Mhm.
And it's going to cover everything from just even before you've started a business. If you're thinking about starting a business, it's going to talk about LLC versus DBA, logos, naming your business and owning your URL or your domain are important things to
Mhm.
consider together. And a lot of people don't realize that. And so they name their business and it's something that maybe the domain is already taken.
Mhm.
They've already got their LLC all formed and everything, and then they find out that they really can't use the name that they wanted to online. That's always
Mhm.
kind of a bummer. And so it's going to cover everything like that. And then we're going to really kick it in. And so over the course of 5 weeks, it's going to be twice a week. It's going to
Oh.
be in a small group setting on Zoom.
Mhm.
And I am going to walk you through absolutely every single thing from the very beginning when you purchase that domain. Now, they won't have to purchase their domain. With this
Mhm.
class, they will get a free domain, a free SSL certificate, and we'll talk about what that is,
Wow.
as well as free security on their domain. And then they will also get a Divi license for 6 months.
Oh, wow.
So they'll have all of that. They won't have to buy anything except the actual class. Then
Right.
the entire 5 weeks, we will go through everything from, like I said, the ground up, building that
Mhm.
whole website. And then at the end, if they want to actually take that website and put it on a real domain, I will
Mhm.
teach them how to do that as well.
Wow, that sounds like that's going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah,
So, is that so? So, at the time of this recording, it will have already started but
it
at the
will.
time of the recording and the time of it being this podcast being
Right.
published, it will have already started. So is this
Correct.
something you're
Correct.
going to continue doing? I don't know why I was struggling with that. So
I think so. I think I'll probably do it every quarter. Right now, I have quite a few people signed up for that info session.
excellent.
And so hopefully we will get those people on board. And then I hope to do it every quarter.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's really cool. um so okay. um So we've got that coming up. What are there some other things that you have coming up that you wanted to share, later on this year? I guess maybe a better question. So do you have something as far as a game plan for 2024? What's your game plan for 2024? Or do you have one?
Right.
Have you thought
So
about it?
I have. So to begin with, I want to finish that book.
Yeah.
That's kind of a high priority. And then I would
Got it.
really like to get out and start speaking about emotional abuse and what it
Um,
is, how to recognize it, what you can do for somebody who's in those situations. I think, if I tell you that, my parents used to punch me, you understand that that is abuse. And if I tell you that my parents didn't feed me, you understand that that's neglect. But a lot of times when we're talking about emotional, psychological, and that sort of abuse, people think that you mean calling names, and it isn't. It's so much more insidious and covert than that. And so it's the kind of things that my parents would do, things that would keep me under control, but it was never, a little bit of it was calling names, but it was more like telling me I wasn't important, and screaming at me that I wasn't a princess. And they're right, because I'm a queen. So yeah,
There you go.
there's
Now there's that.
So yeah, it's just all of those things. So I want people to understand really, what was going on and what kind of undercurrent there is there. But then also, I want them to understand, I want them to know my story, that first of all, I really credit the fact that I had 13 healthy years and that I had a foundation in faith.
Right.
Before all of that began, it all kind of began as a result of some choices that my mom had made. And so I want them to understand that that foundation in faith is what saved me. And then again, making the choice to be successful and to be happy is huge.
Oh, yeah. 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 I love that. I love that. So you've got your book coming up. You've got some website design, things coming up. Anything else that you've got coming? Because that already is a lot.
Yeah, it is
But
a lot. It is a
yeah.
lot. I think that those are probably going to be the main two things. I have contacted a few people to possibly do a live networking event, a conference type of summit in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. It was previously done, but I think the organization that did it before kind of fell apart. So that's one of the things I would really love to see happen. And then I also have in my area, I'm getting together with some other small businesses that are service providing businesses in August with our Chamber of Commerce to kind of have a little dinner and let people know what we're doing.
Gotcha. Wow, you got a lot going on, young lady.
For sure.
But
It keeps me out of
that's okay.
trouble.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right. So before we go, let's talk about some fun facts, because we were talking about that earlier.
Yes.
Before we hit that record button, and it's like, what are some fun facts about you?
So I will tell you the first fun fact is, and you can find these on my Facebook page. It's Schroeder Administrative Solutions. And so you can find this post today. So I was born, my maiden name was Waller, Waller. And my mom and dad, my dad was stationed in Germany when I was born. And so when I was born in Germany, my dad wanted to name me Berlin. So Berlin Waller, I am so happy that my mother won that argument. So that's the first fun fact. The second fun fact is I am a super picky eater. So I do not like ketchup, mustard, pickles, or onions. So when I eat a burger, it's a plain burger.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So then another fun fact is I am terrified of fire. I don't know why.
Okay.
Ever since I was a kid, I've been terrified of fire. I love flamingos. And I also love taking bubble baths. That is my unwind. That is the number one thing I do to unwind. So I just love to listen to music and just get away.
Yeah. Oh, I absolutely love that myself. I mean, there's nothing like what was it? Calgon, Take Me Away.
Yes.
That.
Yep.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So how can the listeners connect with you? What's the best
So for
way?
sure, they can go to my website. I have 3 different redirects that will take them there. So Schroeder Administrative Solutions is the website address is actually upvirtualadministration.com. And they can also find it at schroedersolutions.us. And then they can also find me by my whole name, which is KristineSchroeder.com. And Schroeder is SCHROEDER.
Awesome. And that
And
all of that information. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm also on Facebook and LinkedIn
That's right.
and Instagram, and I will be on Pinterest starting the first week of the year.
Oh, is that true? Is that right? Okay. Awesome. So all of that information will be in the show notes. So we'll have the links and all that kind of stuff, for that. Did you have any other words of wisdom or anything that you wanted to share with the listeners before we sign off?
I guess the only other thing is I would love to direct people to the favorite piece of writing that I have. It's actually in my portfolio on my website, and it's about a junk drawer fiasco.
Oh my gosh.
So, I feel like it has quite a bit of humor in it. It's about it's a true story from when my kids were very young and my husband was deployed overseas, and we had just purchased a brand new house and the junk drawer was falling apart, and it's about the adventures to get a new junk drawer. And I believe it's one of my best pieces.
Wow.
It's called the Junk Drawer Saga, and it is under my portfolio on my website.
Awesome. Well, Kristine, I have absolutely enjoyed our conversation. I've learned some new things as many times as we have, been at the networking event together and in the community and all that. I don't think that there's a lot of things, of course, that I didn't know. There's things, of course, that I did know, but this was such a pleasure, getting to know you even better. So thank you so much for joining me in this conversation. And I'm sure that the listeners and those that's watching, it's just going to be a blast. So, yeah. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you again for having me. It was really a blast to be here.
Awesome. Listening and subscribing to the podcast. Simply go to organizedpreneurpodcast.com. And also check out the freebies available, including a free training at theorganizedpreneur.com. So you ready? Let's go.